the FGC podcast. This is Slug.
And this is Turk.
Happy Sunday, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Oh, it's a beautiful day outside. I can see it through my little basement window. I'm sure it's cold. I'm not going to go outside because of the corona. But other than that, I'm having a great day.
That's fair. I've had to go outside a couple times for the dog, and then we've got all our students moving out, so I've been checking their keys and tossing them in my office to filter through tomorrow.
I saw that nice little setup you had where every time they give you a key, you just submerged it in some Lysol and put it in a coffee mug. Ingenious.
Yeah. They give us the keys in an envelope. I cut the side off the envelope, dip it, and so that it falls into the cup. After I get a nice little layer, I just spray aerosol in there. I was told by a health professional to maybe just grab a bucket of water and some bleach and just dump them in that. So that might even be what I do.
And that's what I said to do. So I'm already almost a health professional. Like, I don't know why you go to anybody but me.
There is no reason to seek advice from anyone else other than you. So that's completely fair.
And you know what? My butt is doing really good. Right now, I'm sitting on a purple seat cushion. Shout out to Purple. I see your YouTube videos every 45 seconds when I watch things online. But I found out from another friend of mine who has a disability that Purple now makes seat cushions. They have like 6 or 7 different options. I went for the ultimate because I'm big. And it is a plus size, nice little seat cushion. I've been sitting on it for about 3 hours now. And when my butt hurts, I can tell instantly that a cushion's not going to work. And right now, my butt's kind of doing this thing where I always sit on the left side, so it just hurts and it goes numb. And sometimes the skin will want to die, but when it heals, it's like little electrical volts just going zzz, 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 and just zapping me in the butt, like when the nerves are waking up. And for me sitting on it with all my weight right now, I'm getting those zaps. So it feels like my butt's actually feeling really good while having all my weight on it. So I may have just solved a 30-year problem thanks to Purple technology. It also says I could sit on an egg without breaking it. I promise you I will not be sitting this fat ass on an egg and ruining it because it is just nothing but rubber and grid-like substance. I'll never get it out.
Yeah, no, that'll just sit in there. Is it, so I have no clue. Is it designed for wheelchairs or is it just like one that you can buy for like your desk chair or something like that, but you're just utilizing it in your wheelchair?
Yeah, I'm just utilizing it in the wheelchair. It's technically, this one is for professional gamers and truck drivers. Like, it breaks it down. You know, if you're someone who sits for 3 hours a day, you should buy this cushion. If you travel, you should buy this cushion. If you're a trucker or you sit all the time, buy this. So it says it's good for up to 8 hours. I don't know if that's because that's just what legally they have to recommend, that you never sit for more than 8 hours so you don't die of heart attack and laziness and blood clots.
That's a real thing. There's like gamers and stuff that you have to get up and stretch and stuff because you could I think you're right, it's like a blood clot or something like that where the blood pressure in your legs doesn't like equal out.
Exactly. And so I don't know, we'll find out today if it actually starts to break it down. It says it never breaks down. It's got a lifetime warranty for breaking, I think. It might actually only have a 1-year warranty, but I do have 30 days to send it back if I don't like it for a money back guarantee. And I'm all about money back guarantee.
And let me clarify, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. We're not sponsored.
Something we're going to future review.
Yes, and it has no weight limit. None of their products are weight based. They said it doesn't matter how heavy you are, they will never break down and they will always take back their form.
That's rad. I might have to invest in one, especially now that all my students are leaving and might just have to, become a professional gamer or something. Who knows?
Listen, this is the time. If you guys are at home thinking I got nothing to do, stream. Get on Facebook, get on Twitch, get on Instaham. Okay, just go ahead and throw yourself out there. Yeah, get out there and just stream yourself.
Cool. So while you've been at home in quarantine, social distancing, social isolation, what have you been eating this week?
Oh, it's great. I love social isolation now. I don't even have to see my roommates that often. It's great. So it's funny you say that. We're in this mode. We stocked up, not over the top, not like those jack wagons you see that have 42 gallons of milk in their fridge. Like, it's going out of style. But
the hoarders.
We have the essentials. Yeah. We have a couple big bags of rice. My roommate's got like 3 cases of ramen noodles for himself. That's not out of the ordinary though. Usually he's got 1 or 2 laying around. We got some cans of soup, and we got a deep freezer that's had meat in it forever, and now we just threw a couple extra pounds on top of it. So we've been eating really good, but it's a lot of rice, and it's a lot of making things last just in case. There's always the little fear that they're gonna put the country on lockdown, so you're gonna have to self-isolate like legally in your house, kind of like over in Italy when everyone's singing to each other from the rooftops and the balconies. So we've been eating a lot of cheap meat and a lot of canned vegetables and a lot of rice. I've had more rice in the last week than I have in the last year and a half.
Cool, cool.
What
We've
about yourself?
primarily just been here. We've primarily just been um, we bought some meat, some veggies, but I've been making these pizzas, and I've been absolutely loving them. We bought thin crust Pillsbury's because they were on sale, and I know, but I've been modifying the dough. I've been putting my own herbs and seasons and stuff
You got to
in there.
doctor it.
Yeah, and the first one we made was like a barbecue chicken pizza with bacon and red onion,
That's
and then the one we made yesterday was banana pepper and pepperoni, and I actually made it stuffed crust. I had some cheese sticks that were gonna go bad next month, and what I did was just I ripped the cheese sticks in half long ways, and then tucked them into the crust, folded it over, butter garlic that, and it was a good meal. It was a very good meal.
I do enjoy when it's expiration date time and you got to start getting creative.
Yeah, we're just trying to utilize everything we got. We've been using the dining facilities on campus a little bit too, so that's been nice. They can I had some leftover chicken, so I ran over there, grabbed a salad, and then just dumped that chicken in there and made a chicken salad. It was pretty good.
Well, a good chicken salad, any kind of salad. In fact, that's what I'm having for dinner later. We call it 53 Salad. There's this really cool local place. Hopefully, we might get to review it someday called Maria's Pizza. It's in Erie. Technically, it's on a place Grandview Boulevard, I believe. So they get real touchy. Like, we're not Erie. We're in off suburbia. I don't care. You're in Erie, and they have homemade pizzas, and they buy these rolls, but they also have gluten-free rolls and gluten-free
I
sub
was gonna say,
rolls.
is that the gluten-free
For
place? Because
pizza,
I
yeah.
remember taking Lacey there one time.
Yeah, I swear by this. Their gluten free sub is better because it's like twice the size of a regular. But they have a sandwich called the 53, and so it's almost like an Italian. It's got some spicy salami and ham, but then they put on mayo and Italian dressing with some banana peppers, and so that opened my world when I first had that sub. And one day when I was on the keto lifestyle, I said, I really want that tangy sweetness. I want all of that without the bread, and I had them throw some banana peppers and a mayo packet into the salad because I told them what I was thinking, and they were like, "Oh, we like where your head's at." And ever since then, we have what we call 53 salads in the house, where we throw ham and salami with the banana peppers, and we mix some Tuscany zesty Italian dressing with a little bit of mayo, and it's just the best.
So you made a Cobb salad with Italian meat and used a creamy Italian
Yeah,
dressing.
it's like an Italian. Yeah, it's like an antipasta salad with banana
So
peppers,
you
pretty
just
much.
relabeled something that already exists.
Yeah, but see, you don't always need the pepperoni with it, but sometimes it's great. And creamy Italian is garbage sometimes. Mayo in Italian is different.
I'm pretty sure creamy Italian is just Italian dressing with mayo.
I'm pretty sure it's not. Okay, I'm pretty sure I invented this, and you guys should definitely send me $1 and a comment in the section below if you try it at home and you enjoy it.
All right, well, that's fair.
Yeah, banana peppers all the way. I think Cobb salad has egg. You don't need egg in this.
Okay, all right. I honestly don't know what a Cobb salad is. I just remember getting one that they just chopped up and tossed meat, like lunch meat, cold cuts in it.
Yeah.
So
I do remember thinking, what's the difference between a 53 and an Italian? The guy's like, it's got some stuff. And I was like, okay, that's great.
yeah, I remember going there a couple of times. The gluten-free pizza was pretty good, just small. I don't know if they've changed that since
Yeah,
now that it's more available.
it's pretty thin, but
Um,
it's small.
yeah, but yeah, that's a good place for sure. I think it's down to be reviewed.
I'll definitely give it a review one
Next
day.
time I travel back that way to the good old PA, we'll have to do it. Speaking of traveling,
Oh, wow. Do you know what that is? That's called Vroom Vroom Segway. Good
I
job, buddy.
gotcha. So I recently found an article, and I know that you've done a little bit more reading into it. That some flight lines are going to be offering like wheelchair accessible seating where you can kind of just utilize your own chair, manual or power. Is that true?
Well, that is true. So it's not necessarily multiple lines. There's a line, it's called Mullen Lob Seating of Denver, Colorado. It's a prototype of a new airline seat that will kind of fold up against the side wall of the airplane, thus making room for a wheelchair to just lock into place, which is just like most buses that I've been on, which is crazy. All these years we've been calling airplanes sky buses, and someone finally had the idea we should just design them like a effing bus.
Yeah, that who'da thunk.
And so that is revolutionizing if it gets picked up. I think it's funny they're working on a GoFundMe right now to get some more funds for it because it says it cost millions to design and certify an airline seat. We are a small startup with limited resources, and our recently certified S1 economy class seat is our main focus right now. So they just have a basic economy seat to make money, but they have this design for being a small startup, and it could literally revolutionize the way that people with disabilities travel. Because I will tell you what, I want to travel so badly, but I can only go wherever my little car and my driver can take me because I am a plus size individual who can't bear much weight at all. I cannot squeeze myself onto one of those little sky plane trains, little seats, and then push me through an aisle and then wrestle me without any support into a skinny little airplane seat. And then what am I supposed to do with my wheelchair? Do I got to throw it underneath the airplane? Is somebody going to break it? So if I could just drive on and lock in and hit the skies, man, that's going to open up so many possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, for those that might not know, if you are um, disabled physically, to get onto a plane, um, you can use your power or manual chair to get to the plane, and then someone has to either physically carry you, or if you are able to support some of your own weight, walk yourself to your seat and then get strapped in. And you are responsible for doing that yourself with like your own people. There's not like a service or anything like that because it's a liability if they like drop you or something like that. So right now the only way is you have to be able to at least be under your own volition or like your own power to get there and have someone that is capable of getting you there. um, yeah, that's it's crazy that it's so limited into that capacity that that's really the only way that you can get onto a plane. I mean, to my knowledge, I might be missing something, but
You're pretty close, and if anybody has had experiences, we'd love to hear from you. We'd like to hear a lot of people that I know that travel with a disability. They're luckily a lot smaller than I am, and even they say, it's crazy. There is this little mini stroller chair kind of seat with wheels on it, and I've been told like that you could drive your chair up to the gate or the ramp wherever you board the plane from, and then you have to be transferred to this tiny little like 5-inch seat, and then they fit that seat right down the aisle of the airplane so they can take you on that little trolley chair to your seat. But again, then someone has to pick you up and slide you into your small airplane seat. And I don't know, I've never been on a plane, but from the movies and the TV shows and the pictures I see, not a lot of room. I mean, you can't pick up a 300-pound guy and rotate him into a seat if you can't even squeeze down between the aisles.
yeah, I know. And just speaking on size in general and travel, it's pretty awful. I absolutely hate it. I get really, really bad travel anxiety, and I know I'm so annoying to my fiance and whenever we're planning on traveling because I just get so neurotic and like just absolutely awful to deal with because I'm so nervous about everything. But thankfully, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I've worked and prefer to use Southwest. It's generally cheaper to fly, but they really have this really cool thing called a customer size option. And what you do is most airlines will just charge you for the extra seat. Like you have to just flat out buy your extra seat. With Southwest, you have to let them know, and you have two options. You can either buy the seat and then they'll refund you once you land, or you can just go there, and when you're checking in, let them know that you would like to see like a customer of size option, and they won't charge you, but you kind of run the risk of the plane being full or overbooked or whatever, and then they might not be able to give it to you. So what I do is I will book it, get the extra seat, and then as soon as you land, all you have to do is just call the number and say, "Hey, I had a customer of size on this number," and then they refund your credit card or whatever that you purchased it on. And it has honestly been a game changer in travel for me. I went from being so like, I understand I'm big. I understand that it's on me, and I am my roles be overlapping that handrest and uh, all that stuff. But it's been a life changer where there's just not been somebody in that middle seat, and so then I've been able to sit there. I've only ever encountered an issue with it one time where we had overbooked, or they had overbooked the people, and they're not overbooked. They had like whatever it is, like standby passengers, so like other pilots or whatever, and if they have an open space, they send them home. Well, I guess they had a pilot and his wife, and they only had one open space, and so they're like, if you two, and they found the two fat guys on the plane, and they said, if you two, your empty seat is shared, so meaning that we put you two next to each other, we can get this husband and wife home together as opposed. Would you mind? And we were both like, yeah. But then as I was getting onto the plane, I quickly realized that they're putting all the major weight on one side of the plane. We're about to do a barrel roll or something. And I was terrified. I was like, well, I hope this engine on the right side's a little stronger than the engine on the left side, because it's going to be doing a little bit more work.
Over
But
time.
yeah, I'm sure that they figured that out. But I was just gonna say there's a 3% chance we're about to barrel roll midair. But yeah, so if you're a big dude, big person, and you have some issues flying, and Southwest is an option for you, definitely look into the customer size option. I hate giving out this little secret because I don't want competition, right now. But I've seen on some flights, I've seen some really uncomfortable people trying to squeeze in because they might not have known about it. And I think it's a good resource. And not only does it help you as an individual, but it might help someone that you're sitting next to. I know Matty Matheson, he's a famous chef that I follow on social media. He's
great. He's
absolutely
hilarious.
hilarious. And he was on a flight and looked over, and the lady was typing on her phone, "Oh my God, I'm sitting next to a whale." And he saw it. And so he took a photo of her typing that message, and then was just like just like live streamed just like his face and like his annoyance. And he felt really bad because like he's big, but he's not that big. He just got a really big gut,
Yeah,
and
he's a short, stout guy.
yeah, and so like he felt really, really bad. And that lady kind of like, she didn't say anything to him, but she still was kind of a bully, and he felt really, really bad about it. So I don't think he was flying Southwest, but that is an option for people. And I really, really think that if you're a bigger person, to utilize that, it's a gambit. You front the money if you're able to, which is always tough, and you do get it back, or you run the risk of the flight being booked if you just try to do it when you get there to check in.
Hey, so you know what? If you're a plus size traveler going in and out of the Midwest, run it by us first, okay? But other than that,
yeah. I don't want any competition on my flight, so DM me, and we'll figure out and make sure that our flights don't overlap, so
hey man,
we can both be comfortable.
Traveling is already stressful enough. You don't have to have a civil war over the borders of the seat rail and the arm rail, okay, in between. So if there's something to help out a person of plus size stature, that is fantastic. So Southwest, you're doing good things. This little startup is doing great things. They say they model it off of a lot of already popularly designed seat classes and seat options. So what this would do is it would actually take the aisle seat and slide it over top of the window seat. So the window seat would still be usable, but it would create a 36-inch clearing where a power or manual chair could pull in and slide in and then be locked down like any other standard bus or transportation. Hue style lockdown, which I think I'm familiar with. And so that'd be great. I'm just saying, if this picks up, I'm going to look into the GoFundMe. I'm going to see where it's at. I'm going to see what I can do to push this and plug this myself on social media because my world would change. I've been trying to get to Las Vegas since I was in high school, and I don't have enough time or resources to spend 3 or 4 days driving to Vegas to hopefully have a good time in Vegas and then try to have another 4 days to think about my bad decisions as I drive back home. So if I
Yeah,
could jump on a plane and get to Vegas in less than 12 hours, oh man, I'm just going to be a happy, happy boy.
there's a 50% chance my bachelor party is going to be in Vegas, so we've got to we've got to figure it out.
Right now, I
We've
got
got
nothing going on. I will start crawling if I have to. I will
uh
get you.
because there's this restaurant in there called Best Friend. It's by
We're going. We're going. That's it.
uh, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. Roy Choi. It's one of his restaurants, and it looks like on the front it looks just like a street taco like just place, but then as you go past it into like a secret doorway, it's like a full-fledged restaurant, and it's really inspired um, Louisiana, LA food. So it's gonna be really cool. And the fact that it's called Best Friend, there's no better place to take all your best friends, I think, for a bachelor party than to go there. I tried to force Adam into it, but he said no. So I guess that's gonna have to be my bachelor. He was like, you're engaged too, right? I was like, yeah, I know, but Vegas is a little different lifestyle than I would normally live.
Got you. Now I understand. Like, I thought you were trying to talk Adam into joining us. I'm like, why would he not want to go? You were trying to talk him into doing his bachelor party there. Or his
Yeah. Because I mean, when you think me, you don't really think Vegas. You think just like a cave somewhere with computers and video games, not necessarily the Vegas Strip.
Exactly.
But food, fat. Roy Choi, one of the best chefs in the United States right now. So
I love following him on social media as well. Man, I just love food. I love people. I love good times. And if this wheelchair plane seat gets approved, I get to have a lot more of that in my life. So thank you for all the scientific brains and engineers out there who are just looking at things saying, how can we make universal design more popular? And for those of you who
yeah,
don't know,
we're gonna.
universal design is something that can be used by everyone. Elevators are universal design because anybody can use an elevator. Stairs are not because you have to be able to climb the stairs. Escalators also better for people who can't bend their knees, but still not a universal design because wheelchairs don't always fit on them unless you're a daredevil. So a universal design is something that eliminates the barriers that would prevent every person to use a service.
Equity.
Thank you.
I
And you know
got you,
what?
bud.
You know it's all about equity. I don't know. That's why I tried to get on your segue. I got nothing. But I think it's time for a word from one of our sponsors.
Yeah, so we're gonna check out our sponsor of this episode, Anchor. Big shout out to our sponsor, Anchor, there. Thank you very much. So, Slug, I think it's time that we get into reviewing Turk's favorite place in Edinboro.
All right. Okay, we did Slug's favorite place in Edinboro, so it only makes sense with equality we come to your shitty pit.
Whoa. Don't come at me sideways. Oh, we are going to fight by the end of this.
We might.
So this week, we're going to talk about the greatest bar and restaurant in Edinboro, Pennsylvania, the Edinboro Hotel, also known as Club H.
All right.
I'm going to do my best to not be
then,
biased. I promise you, but it's going to leak in. It's going to leak in 100%.
Be as biased as you'd like, okay? Tell me about Club H. So, Turk, why do you like Club H? What is it about Club H that makes you like it so much?
The environment, going in undergrad and in grad school, it was the place to hang out. I enjoyed it. I would like to get some very cheap drinks and then go shake my booty on the dance floor. The food is great. I don't know. It's just it has an overall great environment. I was friends with some of the bouncers. I'm friends with the owner. Just it's got like a really good, I don't know, good customer service, care about the community. I don't know. I'm just a big fan overall. Why do you
Okay.
dislike the hotel?
So I'm gonna drop a little fact bomb on you.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop a little truth serum into your coffee and stir it
All
up.
right.
I really do like the hotel. I just don't like the idea of the hotel. Okay, it is like exactly what you said. Cheap drinks shaking your booty on a Friday night. You can't breathe in the hotel, and that's not what I'm about. You are the social butterfly in that aspect. I think I am more personable than you at times,
100%.
but you are the social butterfly when it comes time for a keg party. When it comes time, and by keg I mean drinking a beer, not going to the keg, because that can also get crowded in Edinboro. When it comes time for a fraternity party, I'm not allowed to say frat anymore since you joined
Bud, you
one.
can say whatever you want.
Okay? Yeah, it's good. It's a frat, okay? Shove it up your ass if you think that, oh, frats with rubber. Shut up. It's a frat. So, a frat party, Friday night, college town, drinking and sweaty. That's what you like. That's why you go to the hotel. That's not my scene. But I do like the hotel. Just like you said, some of the best memories I have are actually at the hotel.
I'm gonna. This will be my final comment on discrediting you. But if you were to choose a Greek bar, it would not be the hotel.
Be the,
It would
no,
be the
no, it'd
borough.
be a
It would be the
borough.
borough.
Well, that's,
There's
yeah.
much
Yeah.
more athletes and um, just your average day student at the hotel.
Yeah, so you're right. The Greek bar in town is the borough bar, but I'm thinking that scene that you want to be popular. You go there to. I just want to dance. Oh, come on, girls, we just have to dance. Like, yo, bro, let's go smack down some brews. That's the hotel crowd, and I hate it. I just like grit my teeth when I go in
That's
there
fair.
sometimes. But I've had some of my best memories making the hotel work for
Yeah,
me.
the hotel on a Friday and Saturday evening or Wednesday evening, depending on the
For me,
special,
it's
is a
insufferable. It
thousand
is
times different
insufferable.
than the hotel at like lunchtime or dinner time.
Yes, 110%. I agree with you there.
Different vibes and geared towards probably in that direction. It's probably more of a towny local um, vibe in the afternoons and in the early evenings, and then like 8 p.m. hits, and then it's like throw all your rules out the window. You're gonna do some booty shaking. So
Yeah.
let's talk about food.
Okay, let's talk about food.
Um, I know right away. I'm just gonna give it 4 stars. It's not 5 stars by any means. Um, it because it's bar food. However, I think they go out of their way to have some really cool, unique specials that some of the other places don't. Every second Tuesday of the month, they have a chef that owns his own restaurant up in Erie come down and does a made to order pasta bar. They've got steaks. They've got like uh big like just like your dinner meals versus just like your average bar food. And
Yes.
they do like week daily specials and stuff like that. So food quality, I'm gonna give it a 4 star because it is mostly bar food, but they do have some options that are like let's go to the hotel for dinner. You know,
Yeah, and I'm gonna co-sign that because you're right. Good bar food, it's standard bar food, but they do go out and above and beyond, out of their way to give you a little extra, like that fancy gourmet made-to-order pasta with some lemon basil infused pastas and fancy sauces and like multiple toppings to pick from, and they got it in the little induction skillet, and you just go down the line, and he makes this perfect individual pasta dish for you with different levels of spice and seasoning and heat. It's a great idea to bring in a different environment and bring in a different crowd. You get the steak night and it's packed for the adults and the kids. But also when it comes to food quality, they also had the first time I've ever done a food challenge in my life. A friend of mine, we both tried to tackle a Loch Ness monster.
ooh,
And a Loch Ness monster is a loaf of Italian bread, open faced, with three steaks on one half, a pound and a half of meatball on the other half, and then a pound of sausage on top of both halves. And then they melt the pounds of sausage or cheese and marinara sauce with onions, peppers, and mushrooms. all over this giant thing. It weighs, I think, about 7 pounds at the end. I ate 3.5 pounds. I was able to put away 3.5 pounds of it before I had to tap out, and then I went down to the Dairy Supreme and got a monster 32-ounce milkshake to wash it all down afterwards. Because that I remember being so stuffed I couldn't breathe, and as soon as someone said, "Man, I want Dairy Supreme," I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I can do that. I can definitely find a way for ice cream to fit into all the nooks and crannies of my belly where there's not Loch Ness Monster food." But they do have some fun things to eat there, and the food's pretty
I've
good.
never had that challenge, never participated. Big, big wish of mine. But
It's nice.
I'd have to say my favorite meal there would be the probably the mom's meatloaf. If I go to anywhere, any restaurant for the first time, one of the first things I see is if they have a meatloaf. I get the meatloaf. I absolutely love it. I just love meatloaf. I try it. It's pretty good. Um, I mean, they've got wings, they've got pizza logs, they've got like the go-tos. But if I'm looking for a dinner and it's not pasta night, I'm getting the mom's meatloaf.
I'm the same way with liver and onions. If I go to a restaurant and see liver and onions on the menu, I'm buying it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So we
I'm
both
gonna
gave
try it.
4 stars for food quality. Now let's talk about customer service. I
Let's
think we're
talk
gonna
customer
have
service.
differing opinions here. Um,
We might.
so I'll go first. I'm gonna give it a 3 because I've had some great experiences, but I've also had some bad experiences, and it's
Okay.
been throughout several years, and that really is dependent on the staff. What's consistent is Pat, the owner, is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He's I work with him in my golf outing. I've worked with him on other projects for just like student activities. Like we've had Make a Wish fundraisers while I was in college. He always helped, participated, let us set up a booth in the bar. He's always been really, really accommodating and helpful there. But sometimes, I mean, you're hiring college students. Sometimes college students suck. Sometimes they're rude. Sometimes the bouncers take their job a little too serious. But overall, for me, um, I think that it's been your average customer service. But sometimes you have a bad egg, and you could tell they're not generally there that long. You know.
No, you're right. Sometimes the good ones stick around and the bad ones are gone. So can't complain about that. So you're giving customer service a 3. I would have to say I'd probably go 3. I know we don't want to split it, and by the way, we've heard from some viewers that our ratings are confusing. We're doing things out of 5.
Yeah, it's always out of 5.
So
Each category is a
always out
5.
of 5. And we don't want to split it. I'm almost inclined to split it at 3.5, but I think I'm gonna go ahead with a 3. I'm gonna go with a 3, but say that the reason it's a 3 is because I've had a few number 2s. I've had a few 2s, a couple 1s, but I've had some 5-star customer service. I remember there was a time, again, I don't like that crowd. So Mondays used to be my hotel night. Mondays it was dead quiet. They'd have some Mexican specials, so you get a couple tacos or Coronas, but I wasn't always my thing. And a friend of mine, I'm gonna call him M. M and I would go out after wellness and walking. I know that's funny, right? I did wellness and walking, and I got a D. Okay, so I'm not gonna say that teacher was prejudiced, but they gave a person in a wheelchair a D in a walking class. So fuck
Yeah, but
you.
it makes sense that
Uh,
you would fail a walking class when you can't walk.
Yeah, 100% it makes sense, but you know what? The world's not supposed to make sense. You're supposed to feel pity for me and give me the A. All right, I hope that person sleeps well at night knowing that guy didn't get an A. He didn't know the first thing about walking. So this story's going to get a little adult, so put the kids away right now and listen. Em and I used to go every night. Every Monday night we'd go. And then one time we brought J and D with us. So M, J, and D, we're all at the bar. They brought out the shot book. We started picking out shots left and right. I buy a shot for the 4 of us. Next person buys a shot for the 4 of us. And we had the same bartender. She was a sweetheart. She was kind. She wasn't flirty because she knew that she was just there to serve drinks and be friendly. She never tried to overstep that bounds. We never overstepped our bounds. She would see us walking up the road and have our drinks made on the counter when we got in there. All right, never got that anywhere else but the hotel. So they've had some great workers. And that's the first and only time I've ever been blacked out before in my life. I've never been so intoxicated that I lost a chunk of my memory or time. All I know is that the night ended with Jay disappearing, M slumped over my shoulder, and I carried him fireman style home. Driving so intoxicated that I had to stare down at the sidewalk between my leg and my joystick, and I just kept the tire on the fraction of the part of the sidewalk that wasn't falling off. I remember D got pulled over by the police for driving like a creep ass slowly behind us on the street, and she was also intoxicated. She got away with it somehow. Just I'm following my friend. She's see because that cop saw somebody in a wheelchair and knew, you know what, we're gonna give some respect. They're trying to help somebody in a wheelchair. That professor's like, fuck this dude. He's getting a D. I remember getting M back to his place, thinking I got it. He's safe. Someone turned the light switch off. I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, sitting in the middle of my dark bedroom, looking down at the personal care attendant who's on her knees in front of me saying, hey, I'm going to go home. Do you want to go to bed before I clock out? It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh, yeah, I should do that. Apparently, I snuck past all of them. I was supposed to go to bed at 2 o'clock. They came to put me to bed at 2 o'clock. Nobody's there. So M's mother, who worked with me, she called M and said, where the F is Doug? He's supposed to be home at 2 o'clock. And he's like, Ma, I don't know. He fell asleep on his front porch. He didn't even make it in the house, I found out. He fell asleep on the stoop. So at 2:15, they go back to my room. I'm sending an email to an infinite amount of H's. I fell asleep on the keyboard. So somehow, between 2 o'clock and 2:15, I teleported into my bedroom and tried to send a mystery email. I don't know why I thought I'd send an email. In that state of mind, I opened up Google and just fell asleep on the keyboard with a bunch of H's. So that was a good time. Only able to have that in the hotel.
That's true.
And once I remember the first time going there, I will admit, I may or may not have tried, wink, to get into the hotel without being of age. I'm not saying I was served. I'm just saying I was trying to get in because it was a Friday night and my friends were of age. And when the bouncer said, you have ID, I busted out my student ID that does not have any identifying information about your age. And he just respected the game and let me go in.
Yikes. I'm sure that guy's no longer there.
Of course not. That was 12 years ago.
But I really quick, my favorite. Well, I have two. They both involve you. My favorite story, and this kind of goes in with the aesthetics. So you walk in, it's kind of rustic. It's got a lot of wood furnishings, wood tables. Everything's very made from like carved wood. For the most part, like the tables, and then you go into the back room. There's like names carved in all the booths and everything like that. But it's smaller, and it used to be in undergrad way smaller than it is now. They've took out some bathrooms, made it a lot of big roomier, added a stage, added some extra space. The bathrooms were absolutely atrocious. They fixed those up, have brand new bathrooms. They're really, really nice. I actually used them last time we were there. Golf outing. Had to go real bad. Snuck in. Took a number 2. No bidet, but it's a good facility and good service.
Yeah, can't hold that against them.
Yeah, no, you can't hold that. Until I become president and make it mandatory for everywhere, you can't hold it against them. But anyway, 2 favorite stories. It's small. Homecoming, Edinboro Hotel gets packed like sardines in a can. Well, we were coming out, and there was no room. Like there's no way for. So I put my full back pads on. I got out in front, and I just started going beep beep beep, and just yelling, "Move it out of the way! Get out of the way!" And just forcing people. I was parting the sea of drunk college humans so that my convoy of buddies and friends could get through. And it was a highlight for me. And then the night that I fell in love with you as my best friend I was hired to be, we were on the staff together.
Yes.
And you were in Pittsburgh seeing Journey.
Yes.
I was at the hotel with a few friends. drinking some
Yes.
uh, trash cans.
Oh, you were definitely tri-fisting trash
There
cans.
was a quad night. There's a picture. I had 4 trash cans, which is a mixed drink of several shots of alcohol and then a Sparks alcoholic energy drink. I had 4 of them. I blacked out.
Crammed into it upside down, so it looks like you literally have a can of trash in your
Yeah,
hand.
yeah, yeah. I blacked out. Um, and I guess at some point our desk assistant no showed, and we got assigned hours that we had to be at the desk. And I was like, yeah, I got this, no problem. About an hour into being home, I quickly got sick and couldn't make it up to my room and hung out in the bathroom. Well, I don't know who it was. I think it might have been Steve G. Somebody brought me a Gatorade, being a real sweetheart, and they let you know that I was dead in the other room.
Yeah.
And you know what you did? You drove 2 hours. You were on your way back already, but you sped home so
Sped
that you
home.
could cover my shift for me because you knew that I was too inebriated.
Didn't get anything to eat. Didn't get anything to drink. Didn't process the concert as well as I wanted. But I came because you needed me.
And that was the night that I fell in love with you. So that's why we're here together several hundred years later.
I love you. I've loved you since the moment I had to cover for your date with the porcelain crown
Yeah.
or porcelain throne.
So all
You're
of
sitting there
that to
hugging
tell
me.
you that I'm going to give it a 4 star in the aesthetics because it's a sports bar. There's Edinboro stuff all over. You get to see different articles of different athletes. There's a Steelers wall where you can see all the Steelers jerseys that Pat's acquired. And then some Edinboro guys that have made it big in the UFC, stuff like that. There's pictures of them and autographs of them. It's all really rustic. Um, Edinboro Hotel and undergrad, much lower score, but Pat's put a lot of money into renovating it and making it more modern and updated, and I think that really bumps it up to 4 stars for me.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4 too. It's a good college bar. Like you said, they got the wall of Pittsburgh. They got jerseys, galore Penguins, Steelers. Not so much Pirates, but they have pictures of the stadiums, local heroes. It's a good place. It's got the booths on the side. It's got some tables scattered throughout here and there. Now that the bathroom scene is in the back, where it's actually a nice bathroom, it's just that dingy small bathroom in the front. One of the best things I remember about the bathroom, never being in there myself, is a good friend of mine, Jimmy, who's nonverbal cerebral palsy uh, student at Edinboro University. So he was a man with a disability. Jimmy loved to socialize, even though you couldn't understand a goddamn word that Jimmy ever said. And you try to avoid eyes in the conversation because my man could not enunciate the I. He'd get stuck on repeat, like, ah, 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 ah. But he is like, I gotta pee. And he says this in his own way, okay? He didn't say it that articulate. Just drops to his knees and just knee walks his ass right into the bathroom like nothing's going on. And some rando follows him in about 10 minutes later, drunk off his high horses, stumbles in, pushes the door open. It's a swinging bathroom door. Looks over, and I recognize the look of shock on this dude's face as there's a grown ass dude on his knees in the men's bathroom. As this door just swings shut, and I see this look of horror and intrigue, like, what am I looking at? As the door just shuts behind him. Greatest thing I've ever seen. That guy came out, like, and as he came out, he was looking over his shoulder like he was still in disbelief. Like, what did I just walk in on? But it's got a good look, okay? So it's a good college bar. It looks fine inside. You get a 4.
And our last category, accessibility. So
Accessibility.
while you're on the train talking about different students and using the facilities and stuff, what would you give it?
I'm probably just going to give it a slow pitch down the middle and give it a 3 and say it's average because really it's not the best. It's not as open as you might think for it being the only place in town that actually has a dance floor section. I remember especially in grad or in undergrad, there were booths on the side, but there's only 1 or 2 tables right crammed into a triangle between the bar, the booths, and the bathroom. So you really couldn't comfortably sit there, and if one of those tables was gone, you were done. There was no place for you to sit. If you fought yourself to the other side of the bar, there was one long table, but usually that's where the townies would sit, so it was always packed, and there was no way you could fight yourself through the sea of the dance floor on the weekend to make it to the limited space in the back room, because the back room had all the pool tables and a raised platform of booths that didn't even have a ramp. So there's a whole section of seating that you couldn't even get to because it's up on a stage.
Yeah.
It's up a step on a platform. But
Yep.
now that it's a little bit more open, there's maybe 2 extra tables in the back. It's a little bit more open in the front. So I'm gonna give it a 3 because when it's a nice afternoon, it's not that bad. But I recommend you stay far, far away unless you like the environment on a Friday night. If you're cool with waiting around, and plus you're in a wheelchair, you have your own seat. Okay, but you're not going to get a table. I stole a dude's jacket once in the hotel because this drunk bum stumbled into me so hard. It was so packed. He bumped me. His arm got stuck on my back little push bar. It turned him around into a 180. It stripped him off his left arm. He spun through it, pulled it off his right arm. He never broke stride and just walked right out of the bar and went home. I went home with a real nice windbreaker that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's that crowded. Like you're gonna get bumped. I've had drinks spilled on me, not maliciously. You're just so shoulder to shoulder that it's not the most fun to be if you're somebody who likes your personal space.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't really see it. I know that they've made some strides with the bathrooms on making sure that you could get in there and there's a little bit more space and it's an actual handicap accessible stall with like arm bars and stuff like that. So I think that's
They
a
tried.
pretty big improvement over the dungeon that it was um, back in the day.
Right, and I appreciate people trying.
Yeah.
So you know what? Good for them, and good for Pat. He seems like a great guy. He's got a good establishment on his hands. So, Turk, how are we going to certify the hotel?
Well, I did the numbers. It's fat guy certified.
Congratulations, more fireworks, finger
Boom,
guns.
boom, 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 boom. It's really tough and very limited on what kind of sounds I can find on YouTube. So I might have to dive into some other free source sounds for a cannon blast and maybe a confetti gun, something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, and once we start video, maybe we can add some visual effects.
Yeah, I mean, we've
get more
got
graphics.
a video editor extraordinaire over there. So one day.
One day soon. So congratulations, hotel. You are officially Fat Guy certified.
Yeah, check it out in the
The
mail. We'll make sure that we'll send you some stuff and a nice letter letting you know, and look forward to speaking with you about it.
Well, that's real. I'm happy that we got to certify your favorite place.
I thought you were going to come at them hard. I appreciate you meeting me in the middle and having some clear and concise, and I really tried to remove my bias. So I think we did good there.
I told you, I'm never biased. I shoot right down the middle. I can be objective. I don't like the idea of the crowd in the hotel, but as a business standpoint, they're doing good stuff. I cannot knock.
100. So I
So
hear
we're
that
coming.
you've got
Yeah,
some
we're coming to
random
the end.
factoids for me.
Well, I do, and I've been dropping some of my factoids here and there. So really, this is one random factoid. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk belly buttons. All right, let's just
Belly
sit back and come.
buttons.
We're talking belly buttons now. For those of you who don't know, I have a magic belly button. My belly button travels. Sometimes it's straight south under the left nipple. Sometimes it's right in the middle. Sometimes it's dead north. It just moves around a lot. I don't know how it does it. Right now, checking. It's still south, but it's traveling east. Okay, it's trying to head towards the the Midwest. It's heading that way. It's all over the place. So I think it's because I sit and I'm really obese. I'm pretty big, 300 plus pounds. My belly slouches because my body goes right, my hips go left, my neck goes the other way to compensate. So it's all over the place. But as a big dude, you got to make sure you keep yourself clean. I always clean my belly button. I just read an article that belly buttons are the dirtiest things in the universe. They are still baffling scientists. A study was conducted on a U.S. college campus where they looked at the bacteria in a belly button. And on a man, they found the same bacteria that is only found in the soils of Japan. And this dude has never left the continental U.S.
Yikes.
So somehow he got Japanese soil bacteria growing in his belly button.
How is that even possible?
I don't know, but belly buttons are dank. Okay, it doesn't matter about your ears, cleaning behind your ears, cleaning your pits. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't go at least one knuckle deep in your belly button once a week, you could really be putting your health in
I
jeopardy.
scrub my belly button every day, clean in the shower. Still smells awful. Worst smelling thing on my entire body. I don't know what it is.
You know, I got my belly button's this real magic. Like
It's a
it's this
portal.
little special button. It's a portal. But I don't know if you've done this. I told this to my one friend who thought I was crazy until he did it to himself. But having people wash you because I'm not able to do that being disabled. Very limited use of my hands, limited upper body strength and reach mobility. So somebody has to help me shower. Somebody pushed on my belly button too hard one time, and I felt it in my nether regions, right in the North Pole. Okay, and I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And it caught me off guard. When I said this years later, this guy went home and he's like, "I went home and gave myself a belly button pushing, and I'll be damned if I also didn't feel it in my North Pole." So if you're sitting at home, you're bored in this social isolation, go ahead and just give yourself a good poke and comment. Give us a shout out,
Yikes.
but keep it clean. Especially with the corona scare, we don't need anybody getting coronavirus 3 months from now or 3 years from now because you haven't washed your belly
Yeah,
button,
clean
Steve.
your belly buttons.
No shout out to any Steve and negativity there. It's just a
So
name. Anytime I have a name, I use Steve.
clean your belly button. I got a final thought, and I'm gonna be harping on this while we're in this weird little crisis that we're in this pandemic.
Go
If you
for it.
have the means and you're available to, make sure that you support small businesses, do local businesses. It's going to be really tough. There's people in, I have some friends that work, tattoo artists in Colorado. Government shut down their studios until April 30th. That's their means, their way of making money is now gone for almost a month and a half. So do whatever you can. If you've got a friend that's an artist who's selling prints, you've got a restaurant that's doing some prepackaged family meals. If you have the means, please support them. It's going to be tough. And the only way we're going to get through this is if we get through this together. So do what you can to support small and local businesses, but also do what you can to maintain the health and safety of those around you. Self distance, self isolate. If you're sick, lock yourself in a room for 15 days. Um,
Yeah, enjoy the vacation.
yeah. Uh, and
Yep.
with that, I think it's time to sign
That's it.
off.
Almost,
Oh,
almost,
okay.
almost. I have my own final thought,
Okay.
and I do appreciate it. But it's going off of what I talked about at the Church of Slug a few episodes ago. But we're not talking about happiness now. I just want to talk to the people listening. Share this around. Check in on each other. Okay, this is a very trying time. Mental health is something very serious. I went to school for 10 years almost for mental health, and I practice. I'm no longer in the mental health game right now, but I still respect it. And I know that a lot of people are struggling with keeping their spirits up at this very, very negative, dark time in the world. So whether it's personal, whether it's business getting you down, depression, anxiety, it is real. Some people are needing a little pick me up, and I want to put a little plug right now. Yale University has a very popular course. In fact, it is their most popular course ever on campus, and it is the science and psychology of wellness and mental well being. So they talk about the effects of depression and anxiety and stress and how to deal with that. And I think that this is the perfect time for them to make that course 100% free online right now on Coursera. So I'm going to put a link in our YouTube description for anybody else that's interested. I signed up with my roommate. He's like, you know what? I think this would be really interesting. So we're going to do this together. There's no required reading. It's just this psychologist that came up with this course material, who's a professor on Yale's campus, is presenting this for free. All the lectures are shot in a very intimate setting with very minimal students, so you can see their real-time reactions to the course material as it's presented. And it's really good. It covers the topics of misconceptions about happiness, why our expectations are so bad, how we can overcome our biases, stuff that really makes us happy, putting strategies into practice. I don't want to tell people to be happy because I know mental health is physically something that stops you from finding the happiness, but maybe looking at the thankfulness. It is a dark, trying time, but for everyone that's stuck at home right now, that means that there's more people getting to spend time with their kids. This might be some of the only times that you're going to get to spend 2 uninterrupted weeks with a loved one. So take advantage of it where you can. And let's go ahead and see if we can learn to be a little bit more happy and a little more positive in our way that we think by taking this course together.
I love it. I love attending the Church of Slug on a Sunday.
I mean, it is the best day for doing nothing productive.
For real. Well, with that, I think it's time we say sayonara. 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 Wow, what an idiot.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Vio con Dios.
That's all I got.
Same.
I'm not cultured.
All right.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you for putting up with us, and we hope to hear from you soon. If you have any questions, any comments, let us know, and we hope to hear you next week.
This has been Fat Guy Certified with Turk and